Clemson is set to open its much-anticipated 2025 home slate, and they'll do it in front of a raucous sellout crowd as the Tigers welcome the Pitt Panthers in front of over 8,000 fans right here on ACC Network Extra. Welcome inside Little John Coliseum alongside former Georgia Gym Dog Sydney Sneed. I'm John Gross. Sydney, Clemson and Pitt are both competing in a raucous environment like this for the first time all season. As a gymnast, what's going through your mind leading into an event like this?
Well, we have a sold-out meet here tonight. You can just feel the excitement being in here. These are the types of competitions that these athletes work so hard for all preseason.
Well, Clemson is home opener tonight, but they are on the heels of their best performance of the season. They went out west to California, took on Cal, put up a 196-225. And you look at the Tigers this season, just 3 meets into the campaign, but they have shown some really good balance. Top 25 nationally in 3 events.
Yeah, being top 25 in 3 events is so impressive, especially this early on in season. I'm excited to watch them just continue to grow meet by meet from what we've seen.
And it's only the 2nd season of this program's existence, so how much more impressive does that make it that they're top 30 in all 4 of these?
Well, I just think that speaks to the team and the coaches, right? I mean, you can just tell that they're so hardworking. Being able to have the 2nd year and come out of the gates huge with 3 top 25 rankings is incredible.
And for Pittsburgh, the Panthers looking to improve on a season low against Stanford, 194.55 last time out. This is a program on the opposite side of the experience spectrum, 50th year of Pitt Gymnastics this season. They struggled on beam last time out, but the strength for Pitt this season has been on floor. That's where they shine. 4 Panthers have won a floor event.
Yeah, and take a look at those numbers, those 9.875s, those 9.9s on floor. That's what you want to see, again, this early on in season. Really impressive. Floor is such a fun event, too, to be able to do well on and just show your personality. So I'm really excited to watch them tonight.
And the Panthers are led by Casey Joe McPherson, the 2nd-year head coach, the 4th head coach in program history. And look at her track record as a gymnast. 8 All-American honors, a 2-time NCAA regional beam and floor champion, did her thing in the SEC down at Arkansas. Previously was on the staff at Missouri, helped take that program to new heights. And for Clemson, Amy Smith. She is a fan favorite in Clemson, South Carolina, the reigning ACC Coach of the Year, hired back in April of 2022, has seen this program go from the ground up. And Sydney, speaking with both of these head coaches, I think the operative word entering tonight was excitement.
So much excitement. You could just tell when talking to these coaches how pumped they were for this competition. We're talking about the environment too. It's loud in here. It's fun. We got to watch warm-ups. These athletes look spot on. So it's going to be a good and close competition.
And Amy Smith's Clemson Tigers will start tonight on vault. So let's look at the points of emphasis on this event. What are they looking for?
So when we're looking at vault, the start value, you're going to hear us talk about that a lot, but they want those 10-0 start values. Then the execution. How does that vault look in the air? How is the form? Are the toes pointed or the legs straight? And then probably one of the most important, the landings. Are there stuck landings? That's what the judges are looking for. That's what the coaches are going to want. Those 3 things, in a nutshell, are the most important.
All right, so Clemson starts off on vault. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh will kick things off on bars. Let's dive into the points of emphasis for the Panthers to start things off.
So when we're looking on bars, the biggest thing are those handstands. You want on top of the bar, straight in the air, those releases, the big releases where they let go of the bar and catch it again. You want to see height on those, amplitude, and then again, the dismount to end the routine. We're going to want to see those stuck landings on that as well.
So 22nd ranked Clemson, 2-3 in the season, 1-1 in ACC meets. Pitt ranked 31st nationally. The Panthers at 3-2 on the season, still searching for that first ACC win of the season at 0-2, and they have to do so in front of over 8,000 fans. Fans still trickling in to Little John Coliseum. Sydney, you've competed in some big environments in the SEC. This is an atmosphere that is SEC-like.
I feel like I'm at an SEC meet right now. Absolutely. We're talking about it being loud. I think the student section is right behind us, and I can barely hear myself talk right now, John.
All right, Trinity Brown will kick things off for Clemson at a 9-8 against Cal. Won the vault title against Pittsburgh earlier this season on January 17th. The third-year Tiger getting set in front of this epic atmosphere.
The biggest thing they're going to be looking for is a good, strong lead-off vault here. Again, we saw the points of emphasis. We want a big vault, but clean landings.
Trinity Brown, one of the 6 gymnasts who followed Amy Smith from Utah State to Clemson, sat out her first season as a Tiger in year 0 for the program. A standout last year, has built on that this season, and the redshirt junior will kick things off.
Starting off with a huge Yurchenko full. You can see the height, the amplitude she got off the table. Really nicely done to start off this Clemson lineup. Small step on that landing, so that's going to be where the deduction comes from. But I really, really liked the height that she got throughout. We're talking about start value. That starts at a 9.95, so not quite a 10.0 start, but really nicely executed.
And Clemson does have 3 10.0 start values. As we head over to bars, Kennedy Duke is the leadoff for Pitt. Had a 9.65 last time out against Stanford, the native of Surrey, Canada.
Starts off with that big Maloney release move down to the low bar for that pack salto. You could see the release that she had. That is a requirement for bars. And then a blind full into a double tuck dismount. Didn't quite get the stick, but a solid routine to start off their bar lineup. She's happy about it. We'll take another look here. You can see this dismount, double tuck, breaks out of it, just has that slight step backwards. But again, a consistent routine to start off that lineup.
Here's Quinn Cool for Clemson. She is in the midst of a breakout season, thrusted into a bigger role with some injuries. She'll compete in 3 lineups, and she'll start things off on vault.
Yeah, Coach Smith just had such great things to say about Quinn and how she's really just stepped up this year. Doing another Yurchenko full. Loved that vault. You could see how from the vault table to her landing, how much distance she got, which is really impressive. A little bit of pike down in a bigger step on that landing, which again is where we'll see that deduction. But one thing I've liked so far about these last 2 Clemson vaults are just how big and explosive they are. It's really impressive to see.
So 2 down for Clemson. We head back to bars, and it's Jordan Ewing, reigning all ACC and NCAA regional qualifier on floor. Here she is on bars. Another native of Canada. She's from Halifax, Nova Scotia, so a couple of Canadians starting things off for Pitt.
I think they're doing a little bit of a spray on the bar.
And this will be Ewing's first time on an event besides floor. And Trinity Brown, a 9.825 to start things for Clemson, so 9.8 plus in the leadoff spot for the Tigers.
I think that's exactly what they're looking for. Both teams having strong starts so far. Getting ready for her release move. She does that piked Jaeger. Good save on that handstand. You could see she almost went over on that. Back down to that overshoot. And now right back up again to the high bar, getting ready for her dismount, which is going to be a blind full into a double tuck again. Breaks out of it. Just a small step. Nice job. Take a look at this pike Jaeger. See how she gets that height above the bar, which is what the judges want to see. And then again, that double tuck dismount is able to break out of it. Couldn't quite get the stick. Again, that's what they're going to be looking for.
Back to vault, Tara Walsh, the transfer from Michigan State after a stint at Auburn. Her 3rd college, now wrapping up her college career at Clemson. Has only competed on vaults in her college career.
And she does a nice 1.5. That's that 10.0 start value we're talking about. she took that step backwards, which means that she was a little under-rotated from a power standpoint. We'll take another look here. You can see nice entry onto the table, is able to block and twist. Breaks out a little bit too early, which is why she has that step backwards. There will be a deduction. Also notice those two white lines are for the direction purposes of the vault. So again, they may take a little bit more because she did go over that.
Julia Bedminster getting set for Pitt. Kennedy Duke started things off for the Panthers with a 9.725. 6 gymnasts will compete. The 5 highest scores are the ones that count. This lowest one is mixed. So Bedminster, who won a Bars event title in the season opener at the Next Level Podium Challenge, an ACC preseason watch list honoree, getting set to go for Pitt. 9.725 for Jordan Ewing as well for Pittsburgh.
One thing that we talked about with the coaches are what does a successful meet look like tonight? And a lot of them said staying in the moment and just having fun and being present, controlling what you can control. And the scores, that is not something that you can control. So sometimes it's hard not to focus on that, but again, just being consistent and doing their own gymnastics is what they were looking for.
We saw some fun celebrations earlier from Pitt. That's something Casey Jo McPherson said we would see. Some silly celebrations, as she put it.
And so far, I really like that first handstand. Notice how she saved that Maloney because it looked like she was grabbing by her fingertips. So great job on that. Another nice handstand on top of the bar. Gearing up for her dismount here. Nice double layout. Love the body position through the air and just the height. She made that look really easily. Really easy, and you can see the dance moves like you mentioned earlier. Love that. You can see right here, she does the release move, catches it by her fingertips, and is able to readjust. So really impressive there. And then dismount. Watch right here on the release, the height, and just how she floats through the air. It looks like she stuck it in place and then had to take a tiny step, so that'll be a slight deduction.
Here's Madison Minner for Clemson, a local product out of Anderson, South Carolina. On the heels of her best performance of the season on vault in 9.8 against Cal. She was ACCL championship last year in this event.
And she does that tucked 1.5. Looks like a bigger step on the landing, so that'll be over a 10th deduction on that. But we'll take another look here because, again, she does that 1.5 twist just in the tucked position. So gets a good block off the table, is able to finish the twist, and has too much power, which is a good problem to have. But, again, there's going to be a slightly bigger deduction on that landing.
Back to bars with Cameron Chu, the freshman from Kailua, Hawaii. Comes from a gymnastics family. Her twin sister, a gymnast at UC Davis. Her mom signed them both up for gymnastics after the sisters were climbing all over couches and walls at a birthday party when they were little girls back in the day. And here they both are as D1 gymnasts.
Getting ready for her release move right here. Really big straddle Jaeger. I love the form she has throughout the routine. You can see how pointed her toes are, and I don't think I've seen her feet come apart once during this routine.
9.575 for Bedminster, so that's the lowest score for Pitt thus far.
Finishes that bar routine with a double tuck dismount. Not enough power, unfortunately, so had to take that step forward. Well, let's see another shot of this release move. Nice Jaeger. She did grab too close, so notice when her arms bent, it's because she was too close to the bar, and that will be a deduction. And then that double tuck dismount, again, her chest was down. So that's where the judges are going to find those deductions on that routine.
Here's Eve Jackson, 5th in this Clemson lineup. A 9.775 for Minner, so that 9.7 from Tara Walsh is wiped out.
We're going to see a big explosive vault right here. Huge, 1.5. Again, we've seen a couple of those 10-0 start values. Too much power on that, so that step forward is going to be a bigger deduction. But again, when you start from that 10-0, you have a little bit more wiggle room for those deductions. Take a look here. Really nice height. She's able to get the twist around, and then, again, just has that bigger step forwards. The 1.5 is a blind landing, though, so that can make it more difficult. On your Chinko folds that we're seeing, you're able to spot the landing. The 1.5s are blind, so they're a lot more difficult.
And that's one of 3 10-0 start values for Clemson. The rest are 9.95s. Here's Jamie Pratt at a 9.7 on bars last time out. The Arkansas transfer in her first season at Pitt.
Really like the routine so far. She's moving through it really smoothly. A little short on that handstand, but starting to gear up for this dismount, double layout, hop forwards, but nice routine. I loved the execution throughout. She had a clean bar routine. And sometimes it's not about the difficulty, it's about how clean it looks in the execution on it. The judges love the good form, so you can see huge release there, but notice the form throughout. And then throughout this dismount too, her feet, her legs, nothing comes apart. So really good job on that.
And now the anchor, Maggie Holman, the All-ACC Championship selection on vault last year. 9.775 last time out against Cal on vaults. Here it goes, the Raleigh, North Carolina native.
And she does a huge front handspring, front pike to that half twist. I love how high she gets on the block from the table. You can just see how explosive that vault is. Take a look here. Huge in the height, the distance, the amplitude, all of it is spot on. She's able to find that landing right here, take a small hop or step, not even a hop. So again, it won't be huge deduction, but that does start from a 10-0. So that's gonna be a good score for Clemson.
And that wraps up the Clemson vault lineup. Here's Emily Todd, the anchor for Pitt. The native of Bristol, England. Half of this Pitt lineup from outside the United States.
She starts this bar routine off with a piked Jaeger. Nice handstand on top of the bar. Right down to the low bar for that overshoot. It's all about the rhythm on these events. You're going from the low bar to the high bar, back and forth a lot, so it can be a lot. Wow, beautifully done dismount into a stick. I loved just the release. That was a double back with a full twist dismount. She was able to drop out of it because of how high she got over the bar. We'll take another look here. You can see throughout the routine, she's just moving through it so nicely. Making it look easy right here. Look at that height and that twist. She just drops out and is able to spot the landing there.
So a strong conclusion. The anchor doing her job for Pitt on bars and Emily Todd. So here's an exhibition for Clemson. It's Kate Bryan, the sophomore who hasn't officially competed this season.
And she does another Yurchenko full. Really like the body position throughout and the execution throughout the twisting portion of that. Again, the landings are the most crucial part, so they're going to be wanting to see those sticks. But really nice vaults for Clemson's lineup. I enjoyed how just high and explosive they were. That's what you think of when you think of the vault apparatus. So great job on that.
And Maggie Holman, the anchor for Clemson, a 9.85. That ties a career high for the sophomore. Here's an exhibition for Pitt. It's Julie Rhoda Matso, the native of Asker, Norway. Again, this is just an exhibition, doesn't count towards the team score.
Starting off this bar routine with another Maloney, going from the low bar to the high bar, right back down with that overshoot. Exhibitions are always a good thing. It's nice to be able to have depth in the lineup for other athletes to get that experience because it's a long season. Athletes can get tired. Sometimes there's injuries. So really good experience for these.
And one of just 2 Scandinavian gymnasts in all of college gymnastics, the former member of the Norwegian national team. So that wraps up rotation number 1, and we are thrilled to be joined by Clemson head coach Amy Smith. Coach, welcome back home. How does it feel to be inside Littlejohn Coliseum?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I can't believe it's been a year, but it is so spectacular to be back in here and feel this energy and get going with Team 2.
Well, we saw some huge explosive vaults from your vault lineup. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a great start. You know, we've got some new 10-0 vaults that we're bringing into the mix with Tara and Eve this year, and thought that they handled that really well. We warmed up really great, so we know, like, we're getting there. We're trusting the process, and thought it was a great start, and excited to get on to the next 3 events.
Yeah, rotation number 2 coming up. What are you looking forward to then?
Just building off of what we did on rotation 1 and hitting our handstands and sticking our dismounts. So that's the goal.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck the rest of the evening.
Thanks, you guys. Go Tigers.
Clemson and Pitt through 1 rotation. We'll step aside. Rotation number 2 coming up here from a jam-packed Littlejohn Coliseum.